Nothing's 100% guaranteed. Abby snorted her disbelief. Okay, in the last 3 years, Emma did have a perfect track record. All marriages, no divorces. She'd give her cousin that. She took a deep breath and closed her eyes, reciting the familiar love spell in her head. Even with her eyes shut, Tom's gaze burned through her. Emma really hoped she'd continue her streak. A military veteran, Tom had served 4 years in Iraq before his arm was blown off by a suicide bomber. After months spent in rehabilitation at Walter Reed Army Medical Center, he returned home earlier this year with a prosthetic one. She knew from seeing him around town that adjusting to his new reality wasn't easy. Still, he had such a positive attitude. If any of her bachelors deserved a happy ending, well, it was Tom Reed. "Is she okay?" Emma heard Tom ask Abby. "Give her a minute," Abby replied, her voice full of agitation. "You men have no patience." Seconds later, Emma's eyes flew open. She smiled down at the smooth batter and continued to move her spoon, this time with light strokes. "So, Tom, what kind of traits are you looking for in a wife?" "I don't know." He shifted uncomfortably and looked at his older brother Adam for help. Emma smiled encouragingly at her friend. "Someone who likes the outdoors, maybe?" Abby reached over and tugged Tom's shirt. "Why, Bridget loves the outdoors. Just the other day she arranged a hiking trip up Buttermilk Ladder. Of course, I thought she'd lost her ever-living mind. God, I hate that hill." She raised a suggestive eyebrow. "Perhaps you could be her mountain man?" Tom's cheeks now matched the sugar spoon's hot pink countertops. Leave it to Abby to embarrass the poor guy. Emma had always liked her classmate, whom she'd known since elementary school. They both had an interest in writing and had been co-editors on their high school newspaper. A story they'd written together on the rise of organic farming even won them a state trophy and a trip to Washington, D.C. during their senior year. She had a framed picture of them both shaking President Bush's hand in her office. Tom had traded in his interest in journalism to follow the footsteps of both his father and grandfather by joining the Army. Now, at 28, he'd enrolled in college and planned on going for his English degree with the hopes of becoming a high school English teacher. He'd make a good one. Emma suspected that, along with embarking on a teaching career, he might also be itching to settle down and start a family. That's what all men who stayed in Buttermilk Falls eventually did. Sometimes they just needed a little help finding that special woman to share their life with, and that's where Emma came in. She couldn't hide her excitement when she pulled his name out of the hat last week to be her next bachelor up. What were the odds that she'd draw his name the first time he ever tried? Perhaps her grandmother's spirit did intervene. Or maybe it had something to do with Emma adding in 1 or 2 extra pieces of paper with his name to up his odds. She smirked. It was probably a combination of both. Glancing down into the creamy beige batter, this was by far her favorite moment. "Okay, my friend, it's time." Tom straightened. "Lay it on me." "You sure you're really ready?" Emma asked playfully. "We could always just bake the batter." Abby slammed her hands down on the counter. "Enough already! You've built the suspense, Emma. Show us!" "All right. Calm down." After doing this every Monday for the last 3 years, Emma knew very well that the expected outcome only took a few seconds. Still, every cake batter came with its own batch of excitement. She liked to build the suspense. Setting her spoon down, she motioned for him to peer in with her. As they hovered over the bowl, she could smell his spicy aftershave. She missed having a masculine scent this close to her. It had been a while. She brushed off the thought and focused on the batter. There it was. The first pretty pink letter began to form.